Today we are lucky enough to be getting our kicks on some of Route 66. This has been something we have wanted to do for as long as we can remember. Because we are making the journey from California back to Florida, we are doing this section of Route 66 backwards from the traditional route. Stay tuned for some interesting facts. This attraction is Hackberry General Store, and it was a major service stop. It helped revive Hackberry until the I-40 bypassed the town and people abandoned it once again. Apparently the late owner, Bob Waldmeyer, was the sole resident of Hackberry between 1992 and 1997. Today, the store is a living museum with vintage gas pumps and old signs. And this is Seligman in Arizona. It's basically a one-street town, but it's a very significant part of Route 66. This was largely due to the efforts of a resident barber and business owner called Angel Delgadillo, who founded the historic Route 66 Association in 1987. He originally set up his barbershop in 1950 to take advantage of the massive traffic flow through Seligman. Because of the sheer number of cars rolling through, Angel said he sometimes had to wait 15 minutes before he could cross the road. Angel, along with other locals, worked tirelessly to keep the historic segments of their portion of the Mother Road protected. Sadly, Angel has now passed on, but his family still run Delgadillo's Snowcap Drive-In. long before it was called Route 66, it was just a series of old dirt roads connecting small towns and villages across 8 states, from Chicago to Los Angeles. It was officially designated Route 66 in 1926, but it was originally going to be designated as Route 60. It wasn't fully paved until 1938, when it became the nation's first all-weather highway covering 2,448 miles. During the Depression era, Route 66 served as the route for those escaping the Midwest Dust Bowl in search of a better life in the West. This era was immortalized by John Steinbeck's movie The Grapes of Wrath, where the name the Mother Road was coined. After the Depression and during World War II, the War Department spent a lot of money locating military bases to the dry climates of the West, and Route 66 became a major player in the war effort for the military. But it was after World War II that Route 66 started to take on the iconic status it holds today, as car ownership exploded and Americans became more mobile. A lot of servicemen returning after the war decided to relocate to California, where they had done their training. Leaving the Rust Belt for their new lives in the West, they made the journey across Route 66. One of those soldiers was ex-Marine Captain Robert William Troop Jr., Bobby Troop, who penned the famous song Get Your Kicks on Route 66 while driving the route from Chicago to his new home in Los Angeles in 1946. The song was originally recorded by Nat King Cole and became an immediate and timeless hit. It has subsequently been covered by many other artists, from Aerosmith to the Rolling Stones. Often called the Main Street of America, Route 66 went on to symbolize the renewed spirit of optimism that pervaded the country after economic catastrophe and global war. Many Americans made the journey along Route 66, and at one time it was one of the busiest highways in the USA. Route 66 became a major trucking route for moving goods around America as trucks started to take over from the railroad system. Route 66 just couldn't cope with this volume of traffic, and sadly, by the 1970s, nearly all segments of Route 66 were bypassed by a modern 4-lane highway. And by 1984, the outdated and poorly maintained Route 66 completely succumbed to the interstate system when the final section of the original road was bypassed by the I-40. And the last town to be bypassed was Williams in Arizona, which we also visited on this journey and is part of this video. But the spirit of Route 66 lives on in the people and their stories, the views and the buildings. There has been a resurgence of interest since 2006, when it was the inspiration for the Disney Pixar movie Cars, where many celebrities voiced the characters like Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater. Gina and I were actually surprised that it wasn't busier than it was, and encourage anyone to make the time to travel at least some of this iconic road, where you can experience a remarkable journey travelling through time. You have to put this on your bucket list.
And I thought, because we, trying to escape the heat down in Florida, just out here, we spent a week out here. This is a lovely spot.